In this unit, we will cover different personality traits and models. For several decades, scientists include hundreds of different descriptors to the list of personality traits. Psychologists took all the personality adjectives they could find in a dictionary, and almost 18,000 words to begin with. Then they used statistical methods like factor analysis, which is a technique that reduces a set of variables and groups similar things together. They simplify the list due to a lot of overlapping. For example, a person is known to be friendly, they tend to be also sociable. Then this should be grouped together as a single trait. What are personality traits? So it is the patterns of thoughts, feelings, and behaviors that makes us unique and distinguish us from one another. And our personality traits are relatively constant and will remain similar across time. And psychologists have narrowed down the list into 5 basic dimensions, called the Big Five or the 5-factor model. There are 3 criteria used to determine whether a quality is considered a personality trait or not. First, for a quality to be considered a personality trait, the behaviors associated with it must be consistent across different contexts. Let's take the trait of being talkative as an example. For example, if someone is talkative, they not only tend to be talkative at home, but also at work, at school, or other settings. Then, being talkative should also be stable across time. So a person is talkative at age 30 will also be likely to be talkative at age 40 or above. And finally, the concept of individual differences is that people possess all kinds of personality traits, but it is the differences in the levels of talkativeness that makes us unique. So people who have no speech impairment can talk, but it is the degree to which they like to talk or not. Here is the Big Five. So psychologists use factor analysis to reduce the list of different descriptors and came down to the massive list to only 5. So we could use mnemonics to help us remember better. So for example, we use ocean to remember the Big Five. O stands for openness, C stands for conscientiousness, extraversion, agreeableness, and neuroticism. So you could try to remember the ocean this way. First, let's talk about openness. So openness is the tendency to appreciate new things, values, feelings, and behaviors. So they have a wide range of interests and are curious people. So people who have high openness may enjoy trying new foods like stinky tofu and also trying out the blue cheese. In contrast, people with low openness may have narrower interests. Next, let's talk about the letter C, which is conscientiousness. It is the tendency to be careful, being on time for various appointments, to follow rules, and to be hardworking. Research has found a positive correlation between conscientiousness and also overall academic success. So people who have high levels of conscientiousness will rarely be late for any appointments and are organized, hardworking, neat, and self-disciplined. In contrast, people who are low in consciousness may prefer not to plan for things, tend to be more unreliable, and also careless. The letter E stands for extraversion. So people have high levels of extraversion, tend to be more sociable, warm but assertive at the same time. So they tend to have a dominant style. But nevertheless, they are outgoing and warm. So people who are high in extraversion may like to attend parties. In contrast, people who are low in extraversion may prefer a quiet night or being perceived as not enthusiastic about these different social events. The letter A stands for agreeableness. People who have high levels of agreeableness are more compliant and also like to help others. They have greater tendency to agree and go along with others rather than assert one's own opinions. They may be trustworthy individuals and good-natured and forgiving. In contrast, those who have low levels of agreeableness might quickly and confidently assert their own rights and opinions, and sometimes they may be regarded as rude. And finally, the N in ocean stands for neuroticism. It is the tendency to experience negative affect like anger, worry, and sadness, and also being interpersonally sensitive. So a person who have high levels of neuroticism may worry about little things and feel insecure. In contrast, those who are low in neuroticism may not get irritated by small things and appear calm and secure all the time. I think suggests that extraversion and neuroticism are the two most important personality traits in explaining individual differences in reward and avoidance systems. So extroverts are reward seekers. They might be more motivated to seek rewards, and thus may exhibit more assertive behaviors. In contrast, those who are high in neuroticism might be more motivated to avoid punishment, and thus may seek solitude instead. And here, researchers propose a new model called the hexacle. So it includes a sixth trait that was omitted from the original Big Five. So the trait is honesty and humility. So it is a new dimension of personality. So those who are high in this trait are known to be sincere, fair, and modest. In contrast, those low in this trait are more self-centered and manipulative. So here they changed the neuroticism to E, which is emotion. In this unit, we have covered personality traits. And in our next video, we will talk about how we can assess different personality traits using different methods.